I'm so sorry I voted for Trump. I didn't know he was going to take away Social Security from 150-year-olds. That he was going to defund trans operas in Colombia. If I had known, I would not have voted for him.
I voted for Trump and I regret it.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from now. White MAGA supporters and white farmers, together with conservative Latinos, are now crying out to each other that they could have listened to the advice the black community was giving them not to vote for MAGA. Now, this is happening in a very critical moment when they are going through harsh economic times, when Donald Trump is increasing tariffs on countries that are actually retaliating back and affecting the lives of those who voted for him and those who didn't vote for him as well. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Anytime a MAGA man or a man who voted for Trump starts a conversation with, well, on the podcast, I'm going to stop you right there. I know what podcast you're talking about. I don't care what that person has to say. You know why? Because they're all grifters. Anyone who gets their political opinions from Rogan, those Nelk boys or whatever they're called, Theo Vaughn or whatever his name is not worthy of listening to, honestly. Those podcasters' main goal is to make money. And how they make money is to spew random conspiracy theories based on nothing. So if you listen to them and then voted for Trump because of what they said, that's on you, boo-boo. Like, imagine getting all of your information from some random bros who probably peaked in high school and got lucky enough to fail up. Sad, dude. It's just sad.
So y'all voted red and now you're broke, mad, and confused. So let's talk about it. The young people who voted for Trump and the Republican movement, they are already regretting their vote. And I'm not even going to pretend to be surprised because I knew it would happen. And y'all got to understand, it's because this is always the play. See, a lot of young people didn't have the tools to really critically think about the impacts of what Trump's policies would have on their lives. And you know why? Because the American education system was never built for you to think critically. It was built to keep you just smart enough to pass a test, but not smart enough to question power. So when the propaganda machine started pumping, most of y'all didn't even know how to check that stuff to know what was factual and what was a lie. You didn't even know how to look past the shiny slogans, the memes, the TikToks, and actually ask real questions like, how does this policy impact me, my rent, my student loan, my future? And now here you are, under this Trump-led regime, finding out the hard way that Republicans do not have your back. That same party that you thought was about freedom is deciding the books you can read now, what rights you have, and whether you can even afford to survive. And look, I get it. When you're young, it feels like political policies and government and all that stuff, it feels like it's just background noise. You think it's something for old people to just argue about, but you see, it is not just noise. It's your life, boo. And if you don't take this seriously, the folks who do take this seriously, you know that older generation that's been controlling everything forever, they gonna keep stacking the deck against you. So now my question is, now that you are living under the policies that you voted for, are you ready to wake up yet? Are you ready to stop treating government like a joke and start treating it like survival? Because until young people wake up, old people are gonna keep cashing checks on your future.
Well, I did it again, damn it. Went down that damn rabbit hole and it was fun. Because I strolled down this hole of farmers that are mad because they're about to lose their farm. Because their federal grant money hasn't shown up yet. And they don't know what to do. And all of them crying. But damn it, in every freaking video, all of them, and I mean all of them, except for maybe one or two, all of them voted for Trump. So why are you complaining is my question. You voted for this. You asked for this stupidity. You complaining that you about to lose your farm because you voted for a man who told you what he was gonna do. But that's your freaking fault. Because you voted for your whiteness instead of voting your heart. Because you didn't want to see that black lady in office. So you voted for that white man. And you knew he was a crook. You knew he was a thief. You knew he was going to do all the dumb shit because you've seen it before. But you mad because you're about to lose your farm. Some of them crying. This land been in my family forever. Yeah. Because it was given to you a long, long time ago. And I ain't crying. And I ain't mad. And I don't care. Because that's what you get for voting for your whiteness. You voted for your whiteness instead of voting for the proper person that you knew was good for that job. But you wanted that man in office that bad. You didn't want her in office. You can't say you voted for the lesser of two evils. You voted his color, not his character. And before we get off of this, y'all know what to do. Hit the heart, share the video, do what we do. This TikTok, baby. You knew better, but you did it. See, this land that y'all got for free, that's been passed down through the generations, that we didn't get our 40 acres of the mule. So why are we gonna be mad because you about to lose yours? This is by design. All of those corporations are buying up farmland across the freaking country. This is on purpose. But you've yet to realize that. Kamala had you saved. The money was appropriated. It was there. But you had to vote for Trump. You knew what he was. You knew what kind of guy he is. But you voted your color. And you thought you was going to get that privilege. But now you understand. If you ain't worth 7, 8 figures, he don't give a shit about you. Or your cousin, or your sister, your auntie. Nobody. Now you look like me to him. Because you ain't got it like that. So, I'm sorry you're about to lose your land. But I really don't give a damn. Because you knew better. All of you. But you wanted to vote for your privilege and your color instead of who was deserving and who was better. So blame yourself. Blame your neighbor. Blame the people down the street. It ain't our fault. It's on you.
So Nebraska, which is a red state, is still scheduled to go broke in 6 months, and the residents are very unhappy about it. And they had this to say.
So are we going to sit at home on the couch and let these billionaires control the country? Hell no. We are the poor people. We're a red state.
Now, that was a 5-minute video that I cut down to that about 10-second clip that I just showed you, because what that man said in that clip was so significant. It really, really stuck out to me. The part where he said, we're a red state, really, really stuck out to me, and further reinforces when we always say that many people who voted for this administration believed that the policies of this administration would not affect they asses. Y'all fucked around, and now it's time for y'all to find out. Y'all voted for hate, even with the possibility that you might go hungry, even with the possibility that it might affect your health. Y'all voted for hate. Congratulations on getting what you voted for.
Have y'all seen that lady from Nebraska? Don't worry, I'm going to put it down here. She was one of the ones who came out and said, we voted for this and we regret it. She's one of the ones that's actually remorseful, not one of the ones that's coming on here going, yes, I asked for this, but please don't tell me how it's my fault that my consequences are affecting me and not just the people I hate now. I don't want to hear it, okay? Not that we don't care about them. But this one, they're cattle farmers. And I guess Nebraska's on track to go bankrupt in like 2 quarters. Okay. And the most interesting part of the piece that she put up, and I'm not saying this to throw shade, I'm saying it to emphasize what's up. Okay. She says, we knew that they were going to be coming for the undocumented. And here, almost everyone's a farmer of some kind. And 70% of our workforce is immigrant labor. And while we knew they were going to be coming for the undocumented, and we knew 70% of our workforce was going to fall into that category, we still supported this. And now thinking about it, I'm gonna say it one more time, and now thinking about it, they realize it didn't make sense to support something that went against their own interests and to put their support in something that is now feeding their own demise. And I appreciate her for coming on here and giving these updates and just saying, with each time, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, in retrospect, I can't believe I did that. In looking back, this made no sense. I did it anyway, knowing it didn't make sense. I appreciate her for that. Because we've got too many that are just incapable of doing that. Just incapable of saying, wow, yeah, I convinced myself to go against my own interests. Why did I do that? Like, that is work. That's self-work. Okay. And that's what we have room for. We have room for people that are like, wow, I now want to look into why I convinced myself to do something that was not going to help me. Why did I do that? We need more of that. And less people going, yeah, well, I'm just going to hold on to my hate and rage and anger, and I'm going to blame everyone else. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to fight to keep my job. I'm getting a lawyer. Okay, I'm fighting this. I don't care if I asked for it. This isn't fair to me. It's not supposed to affect me. What about me and me and me? We don't care about them. Like I said, they can go fend for themselves. They can go fund themselves. But yeah, it's very interesting. So these states that are already on track to go bankrupt just with the policies themselves, okay? Because she's like, people aren't showing up to work. I mean, whole thing, okay? And then blue states, these cesspool states that are providing all the federal taxes, people who live in states like Oklahoma who can't afford a plane ticket out here for the weekend love to talk about how this place is a cesspool, but they need our money to survive and to support themselves. Yeah, I am all for all of these blue states holding on to their money. I'm not interested in paying this regime. I'm interested in California independence or joining Canada or almost any other country but this one. And I would love to see how states like Nebraska plan on funding themselves when we aren't the ones putting into the pot anymore. We're going to keep our dirty little blue cesspool dollars to ourselves. How about that? Like, go ahead. Give it a watch. I give her props. And keep it rolling. Because that's an area, that's a state where the administration is trying to tell you that we're traveling out there to their town halls. Okay? She's in one of the states where they're trying to tell you that it's us that are upset at the town halls. We're traveling out to cow country and removing our dreads and our blue hair to go make red legislators look bad. That's what we're doing. They wish they lived in our heads that much.
So, y'all be seeing the people on TikTok recently. It's like, what about the people in Nebraska? Where are y'all? Like, do y'all not care about what's happening to us and our families and our 300-year-old farms? I mean, we see it or whatever, but we seen this too. We seen this too. Y'all remember when that white dude was getting arrested in, I think it was Atlanta airport, and he was like, "You're treating me like a black person." Y'all remember that? I think that is what is happening in these United States of America. I think that everybody is starting to find out that racism is expensive. You should vote your pay grade, and that everybody is niggas.
Dear God, if you've never listened before, Texas is reporting that numerous farms are shutting down. They have no workforce to bring in the harvest. So what does that mean? We're going to have less food available. What does less food mean? Higher prices for what is available. Even the cattle has been left unattended. Now they're gathering people up to make a workforce. Don't even doubt that for a second that that's what they're working on here. However, there's no people now. Now, as we come into fall and everything is ready to be picked and processed, we are in a massive FO moment for the nation. So if you have not stocked up on basic food items that will help you survive, God help you. Because you're gonna need it. I don't know what more to say.
A lot of people effed around and now they're finding out. And no group of people is going to find out more quickly than farmers because they're really going to get screwed. With the cutting of this USAID program, they're really going to get hit hard because what was that program or is that program that is not being operated as it's supposed to be because of Donald Trump giving complete control of the federal government to the billionaire who bought him, Elon Musk. Anyways, what was the purpose of that? The purpose was to provide humanitarian relief around the world. And a big part of that was providing food to desperate people around the world. And what we did through that program is purchase a lot of agricultural products produced by American farmers and then distribute those products.
We're here. We are here at the FAFO stage. This is really bad. And if you appreciate my content, please engage with this video. I'm just going to read this to you. Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% of workforce vanishes overnight. In a stunningly swift overnight change, some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all of their workforce, an exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. Unpicked crops are now left unharvested. Livestock were left untended, and rural economies are on edge. The story isn't just a tale of woe for Texas farms. It's a warning for American agribusiness, food prices, and communities that keep food on our plates. I need you to share this with every Republican you know. And you don't even need to wait for their response. They just need to know what's happening. And this is part of my line of work. I deal with commercial farmers, including these small farmers, as clients. And I cannot tell you how this is the beginning of the complete collapse of our economy under this Project 2025 administration that doesn't know what they're doing. You talk about the immediate shuttering of farms, because this is actually what's happening. With the food, with the harvests that are lying there completely rotting. That is a loss of food to local food distributors, local grocery stores, local restaurants, hospitals. They sell their harvest, all sorts of vegetables, to businesses within the state of Texas. This is where you can go into your local grocery store and now you're going to see hardly any vegetables or fruit, depending on what they're growing, or a shortage of meat. This is what's going to happen. Now, all of the other industries that support farming, you've got local pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer suppliers that are just, their sales are going to plummet. These farmers aren't going to be purchasing that. You've got H-2A workers who are now gone, migrant workers who are now gone. They were paying taxes. Even if they didn't have social security numbers, they were given tax numbers, tax ID numbers. So now you got millions of dollars just poof, gone overnight from these Texas communities. You've got trucking companies that are hired to haul the.
So I found this, and it says more U.S. farmers filed for bankruptcy in the first 3 months of 2025 than in all of 2024. The 259 filings marked the highest yearly total since 2021. This can't be true, is it? Unfortunately, it is, because this comes from a farming website where it says farm bankruptcies this year already exceed 2024 levels. More farms nationwide filed for bankruptcy in the first 3 months of the year this year than across the entirety of 2024. 259 filings in the first 3 months. And the article cites the person who is talking and a research study from Arkansas, and it is devastating. But I think there was somewhere, did I hear about this, that was going to possibly happen with Donald Trump back in office? Maybe that was us who were talking about it, because there was warnings of this, that bankruptcies for farmers and farms going out of business would hit an all-time high because of Donald Trump, his tariffs, and the way he does things. At what point are the MAGAs going to admit Donald Trump is doing more harm than good? You couple this with just destroying food from the USAID for people who need it instead of giving it out. He's not on a very good roll right now. Well, I would say he's not on a good roll ever, but that's me. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is good? What do you think the MAGAs are going to say about this? Are they going to say anything about this? Comment, like, share, tell everybody. Spread this word. What we need is to talk about these things that are happening and how they are hurting U.S.-born citizens, and continue to put shine that light right on Donald Trump.
I saw the news out of Nebraska today. Apparently our entire state is going to go bankrupt in 2 quarters. Me and my husband owned a cattle ranch here, and I can confirm that all of the cattle ranchers here overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We support him. We voted for him. Something like 70% of our entire workforce is undocumented immigrants, and they straight up are not showing up for work anymore. They have all either fled the country, fled the state. They don't want to get raided while at work, so they have just moved on to work somewhere else. And straight up, we are going to go bankrupt now. We are going to go bankrupt. And yeah, we voted. We knew that the immigrants would get deported, and he was coming after immigrants, yet we still voted for it. Overwhelmingly voted for our own demise. I was talking to my husband last night, and I have to admit that it seems a bit foolish now when you think about it like that we voted for something that is now putting us directly out of business.
Brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from. Now, there are those people who are used to attention, and when I talk about the attention is when someone goes silent, they're offended by this. Now, I've always said that most of the people have gone to election to punish those who do not agree with whatever they say or do not support their policies. And for this case, we have a group of people who have always believed that poverty, problems, and everything that is negative should be directed to a given community. And most of these people have always have a problem, or they've always had a problem when the black community distances themselves from whatever is happening, or they decide to keep quiet. Now, let's we forget that many people went to the ballot. They voted for deportation. They voted for so many other things. They thought the administration that was coming in was going to punish the black folks, and the black community was going to suffer at large. Most of them are now surprised that the black community is silent and they're doing their things in total silence. This is not sitting well with the majority of those rural American farmers or white people who went ahead to vote for the same system. I've always had a problem when someone fails to admit whatever they have done and they try to direct that mistake to someone else. This is when we've talked about white fragility most of the time. The fact that most of the people have been told that they cannot be the ones doing these things, that they cannot humble themselves to say sorry, that we voted not the way we thought it could go, that we voted this way, but we are very sorry and we take responsibility for whatever is happening at the moment. Most of them have gone ahead and they're trying to gaslight the black community to accept mistakes that were previously done by them. So if this is whatever has been happening for a very long time, if white fragility and white privileges have always taken the better of our societies, how do we expect us, or how do you expect the rest of the people who you are now blaming that they are not rooting for unity to listen to you? If you are the same person that you had the MAGA mindset on immigration, that illegal aliens had attacked or invaded your country and there was need for you to kick them out. Now, if you still believe that to date, and most of the people didn't see it coming this way, that the undocumented immigrants are going to be deported and this is going to affect the productivity. Most of the farms are being, most of the workers in these farms are illegal immigrants, or whatever you call undocumented immigrants. And most of these migrants are the ones that have been working hard to sustain these farms. Food security is good in the US because someone else is working in the field, that someone else is operating these machines. And when the labor goes down, production goes down, inflation will start happening. And when things are this bad in the US, you expect everyone to suffer the consequences of a decision that was made by a few number of people. Now, we've been talking very, very extensively on things that have always affected the black community. The same black community have suffered police brutality, they have suffered alienation, they have suffered so many other things. The mass incarceration that has been happening over the years. Now, when the black community was talking about these things, and when they have always tried to advocate for the same things, creating up movement like Black Lives Matter, no one has always talked about, like, they have not received the support that you expect someone to be receiving at their lowest. Now, lest we remember that we forget that George Floyd was unalived in a very brutal manner. These are caused global outrage for whatever was done, but up to date, no one has ever taken responsibility for whatever happened. The government didn't actually come out clearly and try as much as it can to put up policies that were going to guide the police behavior and how they should handle the people. You know, most of the times we do not say that a given community is always right, or a given community has always been objected or subjected to harassment. But it is good that we should remember when equal treatment is brought at the table, when we talk about human rights, and when we try to go with the figures, you are going to realize that there is a community that has always been on the edge. There is a community, or there is a race that has always been criticized for whatever they have not even done. So when I see these videos, people ranting, people are yapping online and crying at the same time, that they want to have a truce with the black community, so that someone in the black community can help them talk about the evils that is happening at the moment. The same things they voted for, it has turned against them. There is always an adage that is always brought up in the US, and the wise people say that when you're told to dig a hole, remember to dig yours. When a grave is being dug and you're told to do that, always remember to have yours, because if things or tables were turned, it might dawn on you that you are digging your own grave. So you might not have somewhere, you might not lack somewhere to be buried. And this is whatever we've always advocated for, that the unity of the human race is very important. However much identity politics have always played in the US, in Europe, and everywhere, as in Africa also, we've always seen that in countries like South Africa. And this is whatever is killing or bringing us down the trenches, that we tend to elect people because we know them, or we tend to elect them because they have policies that will affect our force, or we tend to elect them because they come from our race or the community we come from. We do not care about our countries. We do not care about things that are going to affect us adversely. We only care after everything is lost and everything has been messed up. If we want to keep track of how people have been voting, and the patterns are very clear, and this is why I've always said that the political class is not the problem. We, the people, we, the electorate, are the problem, because most of the time, or let me say all the time, we make the same mistakes. The same people crying today, they were crying in 2016, they were crying in 2020, they are now crying in 2025. There will always be problems, but let's be very, very vigilant on how we take decisions. Most of us make decisions with emotions. You can't mix the two and do not expect an explosion. There always been a problem when we tend to elect to punish, that Democrats go to elect to punish Republicans. Republicans will root for a leader who will punish Democrats or the black community. If we continue this way, are we going to have a country? No. We won't have a country that is built on grudges, a country that is built on emotions. People vote to punish the others. Then the others, when presented with an opportunity, they will always do the same. They will want to retaliate the same thing. And when this happens, let's not forget that there are those innocent people who suffer in the hands of the wrongdoers. And the wrongdoers are those ones who use emotions to elect leaders. The system is set, and the system is biased. It's set in a way that it should always keep you distant from your friends. It should always keep you busy paying taxes and mortgages and everything, and the loans you owe to the public, to the republic or to the state or to the lenders. If that's the case, if you abide or if you go down the same line the system wants you, then you're gonna want to to reverse everything that has been done to you, which is kind of impossible, because you go to the system takes you down to the trenches. The system keeps you poor. The system always keeps you like wanting, that you never satisfied. That's whatever capitalism means. That's whatever the US and many other countries stand for. And when we talk about capitalism, this is whatever is making you very busy, not even to interact with your friends, just to pay taxes. And this is whatever the system has done best. Brainwash you, again, to brainwash you, so that you can make bad choices. But if you could have time, if you could spare some of your time, now reflect on how you've been voting, reflect on how you've been going with the policies. Are the policies are the policies going to help you? Are the policies going to help the people? What if the policies failed on the people that you expected the policies to work for? Are they going to work for you, or are they going to affect you in a negative way? If we think in this way, then we are going to have a better country. But if we continue thinking with a lot of emotions, if we continue crying and carrying back grudges from year to year, I know most of the Democrats will want to retaliate whatever has been done to them by Republicans. And with this cycle, this is when we have, or we tend to choose worst out of worst, you know. Sometimes I've heard people saying that in a political scenario or in a political battle, you don't choose the best. You choose the least worst that you have, you know. You choose someone who is less devil to you so that they can do whatever they want to do, and because you don't have a choice. Let you not be caught in between not having choices, because they say if you do not plan, then you're planning to fail. You must have a plan, and the only plan that can work for both the public, for both the Democrats and the Republicans, is first coming together and realizing that the political class has always not carried your interest at heart. Their interests come first, and so you might want to maybe one day to reconsider voting in patterns that include identity politics and the rest. Thank you so much for having taken the time to watch this video. I really appreciate, brothers and sisters. If it's your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing, commenting, and liking the video. Now, let you not mistake, or let you not be misguided by whatever is happening.